You ever see those creators on social media and just wonder, how do they make it look so easy? Well, today we're cracking open their playbook. We're going to distill the absolute best strategies from content expert Neil Dingra into a super powerful 5-minute guide. Let's get right into it. I mean, this is the million-dollar question, isn't it? For every single person making content, how do you finally stop the scroll and get people to actually watch your stuff? Well, you know what? The answer is way simpler than you think, and we're about to break it all down.
But before we get to that #1 trick, we have to start with this core idea from Neil Dingra, because it's a real game changer. The way your content looks has a huge impact on how people receive it. But here's the secret. Looking professional has almost nothing to do with expensive gear. So here's our game plan. We've got 5 key stops on the roadmap today, and each one builds on the last. We're going to cover everything from the super basic gear you need all the way to a 90-day plan to put it into action. Let's jump in.
First things first, let's talk about gear. This is honestly where so many people get hung up, thinking they need some kind of Hollywood studio. I'm here to tell you that is a total myth. Let's look at what you actually need to get started.
And this slide pretty much says it all. Your starter kit? It's probably in your pocket right now. The Dingra boils it down to just 3 things. Your smartphone, and seriously, wipe the lens, a simple light, and a microphone. But that mic, you only need it if you're not close to the camera. Simplicity is the name of the game here.
And speaking of that light, here's a pro tip that costs absolutely nothing but makes a world of difference. Instead of pointing it straight at your face like in interrogation, just shift it over to a 45-degree angle. That one tiny change adds depth and makes your shot look so much better instantly.
What if you want to start with a $0 budget? Dingra's advice is just brilliant. Go outside. Seriously. On a normal day, the natural light is fantastic. The sound is perfectly fine if you're holding the phone at arm's length, and your setup cost is exactly 0.
Okay, so your setup is ready to go. Now we hit the big one. What on earth do you actually talk about? It's that classic blank page problem every creator faces.
The answer isn't out there somewhere. It's right in front of you, in your recent work. Just take a second and think about the last couple of people you worked with. What were their problems? What hurdles did you help them get over?
And boom, that's your content goldmine. Your experience isn't just a job, it's an endless source of things to teach. Every single problem you've solved for someone is a potential video, because it's a real-world example of the value you provide.
All right, you're going to want to pay close attention to this next strategy. It is a total game changer. Dingra calls it the news hack, and it's his #1 way to get more views by tapping into conversations that are already happening.
And there it is, the answer to our question from the very beginning. The big secret to getting more views isn't about creating some viral trend out of thin air. No way. It's about finding a conversation that's already buzzing and simply joining in. And doing this is so simple. It's a 3-step process. First, find a news headline that's relevant to what you do. Second, make sure you mention your source. That builds instant credibility. And third, this is the most important part. Add your unique point of view.
Here's exactly why that 3rd step is the whole shebang. Information is everywhere. Anyone can just repeat a headline. But your perspective, your take on it, that is one of a kind. When you share your analysis, you're not just reporting news, you're building your personal brand.
So, you're getting some momentum, things are working, and you're ready to grow. This is such a critical moment, and it's where a ton of creators make the exact same, very costly mistake. Let's talk about who you should hire first. Okay, so your first instinct might be to hire a videographer to make your stuff look even slicker. But the Thinger says, nope, that's a mistake. He says your first hire should actually be a content distributor, someone whose entire job is to package and publish your content so that more people actually see it. And this just nails it, doesn't it? You can create an absolute masterpiece. But if nobody sees it, it's just a file sitting on your computer. On the internet, it's not the best content that wins. It's the best packaged, best distributed content that wins, every single time. All right, let's bring this all together. We've got the gear, the ideas, and the strategy. Now let's turn it into a concrete 90-day game plan that you can use to start building some real momentum. In your first 90 days, it's all about balance. You don't have to reinvent the wheel every single time. Dingra suggests a 60-40 split. 60% of your content should be based on proven formats you already see working for others in your space. The other 40%? That's your playground for your own unique experimental ideas. So what does that actually look like week to week?
Here's a super simple schedule to get you started. Block out one chunk of time per week to come up with ideas and shoot. Then post your polished reels on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And every day, just share a little something on your stories, like a behind-the-scenes peek to keep your audience engaged.
Now, after you've been posting consistently for a few weeks, it's time to put on your detective hat. You have to dive into your analytics. And don't just look at view counts. Look at what people are sharing, commenting on, and saving. The data will leave clues about what your audience really wants. Find those clues and do more of that.
And that really brings us to the ultimate takeaway here. The long-term goal isn't to be this machine that's constantly churning out new ideas. No, it's about finding the 5 core themes that truly connect with your audience and then becoming a master at packaging those same ideas in 100 different ways.
And so, as we wrap up, I'll just leave you with this question. When you think about your unique experience, your expertise, and the conversations happening right now, what are those 5 core ideas that you can own? Start there. You're already on your way.